No limit.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Market cap 345 billion. Really took a couple hits over the weekend, especially Sunday. Waking up Bitcoin at 7,400. Ethereum decided to break down. It was holding 1,000 so valiantly. Now it's down to 730. Market overall just double-digit red. Not much of a recovery. And a lot of people, I'm looking at Ethereum. I'm looking at Bitcoin. One event for Ethereum could really cause the flippening. I'm not sure how long it would last, but definitely within striking distance with Ethereum's market cap being so close to Bitcoin's 71 billion, 124 billion. Yeah, it's very, it's interesting, right? Not sure what would happen if that was the case. A lot of people are down on the price right now. This is what I call, I don't know, it's kind of like in a workout. When you start to feel the burn, when the muscle starts breaking down, that's when you get the most out of it, right? When the markets are this down, this is when you can get the most out of them. That's always how I feel. And of course, I don't go. I pace myself. I'm not trying to buy the dip 100%. I buy some, I throw some at the dip. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, I'll throw some more at the dip if it's still dipping. Right? That's what saves myself from just getting all my eggs in one basket on one of the dips and then missing the further. Because I don't know, it's kind of like a blind man feeling. All these other people want to say they can predict the market. I'm sure charts are very accurate. However, I didn't hear any of the chart people talking about Bitcoin shooting to 20,000 when it was at 3,000. Right? That was just a crazy. I don't see how a chart could have predicted this. It just happened so quick and so fierce, right? And then when we were at 20K, I sure as hell didn't say people saying, oh, well, in a couple of weeks, we're going to go all the way back down to 7,000. In a month, it's going to be down to 7,000. It's hard to predict these things because guess what? The news is not in any lines. And guess what? We just got some today. China really coming down with the final crackdown. I think this one is really big. They actually have infrastructure in place, so they're going to block websites from being able to be accessed within China. Anything really crypto related from the exchanges. Someone's pulling a Facebook. The one issue, and this is, we've had the China FUD before. We remember what happened. This is a worse crash though. This is definitely the worst crash I've ever been a part of. And that's fine. This is the time. What really drew me to crypto when I first really got into Bitcoin was I understood that it's like it makes sending money as easy as sending an email. And that's how it should be. You shouldn't have to, people really forget what Bitcoin's doing. It's very easy to only think about the money, but there's a lot of people that need Bitcoin, banking the unbanked. And yeah, there's going to be volatility. However, there's a chance that the price could go back up. With the hyperinflation, there's no chance those $1 billion Zimbabwe dollars are going to come back in fashion and be worth more. They're only going to become less and less and less valuable. That's the one thing people do forget about Bitcoin. Yeah, it goes down, but it also has the ability to go right back up. And a lot of these other things don't for a lot of people in this world. So they would much rather, a lot of them are paying the fees even. And the fees are becoming better. That's one of the big things. I actually think Bitcoin should have increased the block size just to help because, the fees were just so out of control. I understand, and they didn't want to do it because it would cause a hard fork, and inevitably you're going to have people saying, well, we want to keep the 1 megabyte big block. So it would just create it would be one of the hardest fractures ever. However, it's very awkward and very hard for me to picture. But once there was a hard fork guaranteed, and they're like, well, there's guaranteed to be a hard fork. Then that was when the emotional battle happened. That was when there was the spit spat and the Bitcoin core team and the Bitcoin ABC or whatever, Bitcoin Cash, they weren't going to work together. It just wasn't going to happen. The 1 megabyte block was very ambitious. This has caught, this is short-term thinking, obviously, once they get it fixed. However, there was a lot of people that bought at 20,000. They didn't buy because they believed in the decentralized revolution. They bought in it because they thought they were going to make a lot of money. And that's what's happening right now. It was really, really up, pumped really up, and then just a shit storm of bad news, one after another. And the news just keeps seemingly getting worse. So there's not going to, any kind of bounce is suppressed by some kind of outside news. That's just, and that's the thing. You can't regulate Bitcoin, but you can regulate the companies that use that let you trade and use Bitcoin. That's how you regulate it. You can't regulate it directly. It's like this free spirit. There's nothing, you can't control it. You can't cage it. But you can restrict access. You can close bank accounts. And I understood we knew this was going to happen last year. This comes as no surprise. And the price really hurts if that's all you're in it for. But that's why, if you're only in it for the money right now, you're in trouble. That's the big thing. It becomes really hard to stay committed and stay focused if that's all you're in it for. And ironically enough, if you're only in it for the money, those people, they make good money, don't get me wrong. But they're also the ones that panic the most during these hard times and can lose the most money. If you just keep a stable head, I find that people who are more committed to the project, what they believe in, right? They tend to make the most money because they don't panic sell. They don't lose. And it's the law of gains. If you're only gaining, right? No one lost money in Bitcoin unless they're selling right now. Just like no one made money in Bitcoin unless they sold at 18. It's the same thing. If you're holding Bitcoin, you haven't done anything. You still have Bitcoin. Today it's worth this. Next week it could be worth God knows. There gets to a point though where Bitcoin gets so low in price that the upside is way larger. If this thing gets down to 2,500, 2,000, people are going to start buying it up because they realize, well, the downside isn't that bad now. It's not that bad it's not going to go to $500. If it does, it fucking does. I'm not saying, I believe that's a wildest dream scenario. But think about it. How many people would be scooping up Bitcoin left and right? It would cause a green candle, quote unquote, and then people would just start frenzying in. And then it'd raise the price to God. This is what happens. And it's like stairs. And these things are years, right? This is years right here to get to where we are. And this seems big, but in the scheme of things, I believe it won't be because this is the internet of money. You can't really replace Bitcoin, the security, the trust. When you're dealing with money, especially large amounts, love it or hate it, Bitcoin is the king. People trust Bitcoin. It's never been hacked. Bitcoin itself's never been hacked. It's proven, it's trusted. People are willing to send millions and millions of dollars through Bitcoin. That says a lot. Billions at this point. And guess what? Who is buying Bitcoin at 2,500 all the way to 20,000? A lot of Wall Street cats. And it's very easy to to get behind a lot of bad news, dump the price, create more bad news wherever. I'm not saying they're all coordinated. That's very hard to do, to coordinate different countries. They don't like each other. Nobody really works together. However, they can kind of, it's kind of like the mentality, right? If one person, it's kind of like what happened with iPub. It sucks that they got cut out of the commercial, basically. That sucks. They said NBC at the last second. I really don't want to comment too much on it because I'm not somebody. A lot of people are just fucking out for blood, ripping throats, and that happened. It's like the hyena effect. It's everyone wants to just jump in when it's bad, and then everyone wants to cheer when it's good. It's the herd mentality. I'm somebody who wants to give them the benefit of the doubt and see what's happening, see what news, see what the commercial, all that stuff. So I'm just sitting back waiting. I don't waste energy on anything, any of that hate. I know the guys are good guys. No, they're definitely not scammers. That's the first thing one of people throw out. It's a very harsh accusation when, it hasn't even been 24 hours really. And it's the same with Bitcoin. When everyone sees that it's going down, these nation states that really were against it, they all kind of just throw tomatoes, right? They try to make it worse. They have the ammo to push it down. It causes the fear. The fear is like wind to their sails. It just helps them suppress the price more and more. Meanwhile, they're probably slowly collecting on the way down, so that, you know, they don't want to collect too much because they want the price to just absolutely bottom out. They're also fighting against big hedge fund managers with billionaires that aren't on their agenda. There's a lot of people. This is like some big fucking war, man. There's a lot of people trying to accumulate Bitcoin, but the hedge fund managers realize what's going on, and they want to get cheap Bitcoin, so they don't want to prop up the price right now. Everyone realizes what's going on if they're real big into the game, and they're kind of just okay. And then before you know it, it's going to be a game of who strikes first. How low is it going to go before your big guys swoop in to get a lot of it? Because love it or hate Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. When you have enough money, like they do, trillions and trillions, when you have these grouping together, these hedge funds, these big ones, they want a lot of Bitcoin. Whether it's going boom, bust, it doesn't matter. They realize people like Bitcoin. And it's not going anywhere because you can't stop it. So they, just to keep safe, if they were to invest 10% of their assets, they could just absolutely destroy this market and make Bitcoin, like they did make Bitcoin go to 20,000. That was a sneeze to them. That was nothing. Yeah, a lot of that was your investors, but I don't believe a lot of people know about Bitcoin. But guess what? Every single one of my friends, I had to hand feed. I had to teach them exactly how to get on Coinbase, how to get Bitcoin, how to store it. A lot of these people don't know how to do that. It's so foreign to them, especially people who've never even bought stocks. They wouldn't have any idea how to buy stocks. Good luck trying to buy Bitcoin, trying to find the receiver address, trying to send it out, trying to buy another coin with it. I had to hand feed these people, my friends, and imagine the people who don't know somebody who's savvy with it. There's a lot of people who didn't get in because they just, honestly, it's a lot of work. And now that it's crashing, yeah, a lot of people got burned, but I think that there's still a lot more. And people saw where it can go. Once it starts bubbling, this is all just my thoughts, though. This is just how I'm feeling. And what am I doing? I already bought some last week. I bought the dip last week, and I don't have cash. I'm not buying cash. I'm using Bitcoin. So it's the falling off the cliff. I'm falling off the cliff, but I'm looking for the people who are falling further. And BitShares was falling really hard. Definitely, I'm not ready to pull a spear yet because, if I got some for around 31, and it goes lower, I'm not freaking out to get like a little bit of a discount. 10%, yeah. I'll jump on it when it becomes another 30%. When it gets down 25, okay, yeah, then I'll start really wanting to get some more. But right now, I'm just chilling. That's the thing. You always think there's a really great deal right now, and then next week it keeps dropping. That's why you have to pace yourself. I always pace myself. No matter how good of a deal I think it is, you can always get it. And then you have to have the exact opposite. You have to have short memory. What if next week it just all doubles and you're like, oh, I could have got more? That's always going to happen. Don't ever look at that. It's always, you throw an interception in the game. If you're playing football, you don't worry about that. You move on to the next play. And with crypto, I feel like people want to time markets, and they're brilliant. Hey, let them make all their dough, right? That's not me. I'm not doing that. I feel like if you've ever played poker and you're in a satellite, and let's say you have you're in first place and there's one person to go, or let's say you're in fifth place and there's one person to go, 10 people get paid, 11 people left. One person busts, all 10 get a package to the Bahamas, right? It's a very cool satellite. Now, if I was dealt aces and somebody went all in that had more chips than me, I would fold the aces because I've already won the game. Right? I only need one more person to bust, and I'm in fifth place, right? There's 6 people behind me. I'm chilling, right? I've already won, especially if there's a short stack in this scenario. Let's say there's somebody with one blind, and I'm in fifth place. That's a better scenario, and I would fold aces in that situation because, the guy's about to bust. I feel like that with Bitcoin and crypto. It's like I feel like I've already won the satellite. I've already won the game. I'm not trying to make a risk. I don't need to. I believe that it's only going to go up in value. There's a lot of people that invested just for the money. I understand that. I don't do anything for the money. You can't pay me. It's not what I do things for. I believe it was just such a unique opportunity. It's all mixed up. It's not just the tech behind Bitcoin. It's the fact that you have Ethereum with the ICOs, and it allows people to come together and invest. And that's why I hate the fact that they're making it where accredited investors, and they're always trying to, quote unquote, protect the weakest link in society by bringing down the top, right? Always kind of making it a circle where we can't be a point, where we can't really just break out because they're always trying to shelter the weak. And that's not how it should be. A lot of people should be able to learn to grow, right? And it's not natural to do that. In nature, survival of the fittest. I'm saying, yeah, we can pad some things and make it to where go after the scammers, yada yada yada. But at the same time, when you make ICOs illegal, or you make it almost impossible to get in, you're making it to where a lot of people aren't prospering. They can't prosper even if they wanted to. So I believe in the whole ecosystem as a whole. I believe in how it can really change lives. Now a lot of people have access. People can start a project. Other people, like-minded people, say, "Man, I believe in your work. Your work can change the world." They can come together and now invest. It's something that's so beautiful. I've always wanted to do it. I always was kind of not jealous, but I always looked at Warren Buffett. I was like, man, you just, when I go into invest in the stock market, it just seems so, it's just like going up against a giant, 10,000 pound robot that I can't move, I can't budge, I can't do anything against. The gains are so minimal. Even if you research something that's halfway good, somebody's going to swoop in before you. You don't have the connections, and then crypto blew all of that out of the water, and you really got to see where the people who put in the work shine. You saw them find the good projects to invest in, the diamonds in the rough, really doing the work, doing the due diligence. The scams are pretty obvious nowadays. A lot of people have been there, done that. There's always going to be scams, guys. It's just how it is. You just have to look past that and look at the greater good of what can actually be done. And I'd be careful with the ICOs that are always talking about blockchain 4.0. Listen, we had Bitcoin. They disabled the opcodes. They wanted to make it as secure as possible. They're like, we got one move. We're a shotgun with one barrel. Boom. That's what we do. 10-minute reload. Boom. That's what we do. Ethereum jumped in. It's like, we're going to create our own thing where we can, have the opcodes have smart contracts. And now, you get into the realm of the EOSs, where they're like, okay, well, we're going to do that, but Ethereum's limited to X amount of transactions per second. Obviously, they're working really hard. Biggest fucking, you just have to. I have faith in Ethereum, but also have faith in EOS, and EOS is claiming to be that next gen blockchain where they're taking it to the next level. And I'm like, okay, normally I don't go for that. I'm not somebody who's going to just go for the next gen blockchain until Ethereum has really proven itself. However, sometimes you have to make radical moves that go against your principles, and he also goes against all of my principles. But I believe in Dan L. Believe in the amount of money, the amount of power. I've seen what he did. So that's the risk I'm willing to take. But when it comes down to it, I'm not about to invest in a blockchain 4.0. People are like, well, I'm about to be better than EOS. And I'm like, well, EOS, how are you going to say you're going to be better than EOS and EOS hasn't even come out yet? Or they're saying like, it's going to be just like EOS. It's going to be EOS-like. I'm like, how do we know it's going to be EOS-like? We don't even know. I'm sure EOS has so many tricks up his sleeve. And I've noticed Dan L called it EOS. EOS, whatever. The point is, those are the ones I'm wearing. People are like, man, I'm about to get Tron 3.0. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What are you talking about? Blockchain 5.0. Those it's just very worried because it's like we're still on Ethereum level. But for people who are looking beyond that, that's very risky. EOS is very risky in that aspect. But then it just became something that should be in the category of risky can become very unrisky quick if you add a very, very, very good team, a shit ton of money, a shit ton of connections. They just got the CEO of BitDump. A lot, Novogratz investing 350 mil. A lot. It becomes a lot less riskier when that happens. Same with Neo, although Neo's further ahead. The fact is they have so many connections. I believe one day something big is going to happen with China and Neo. But right now, China's really just cracking down. That's what they do. They'll shut it down until they figure it out. It's not the US, yeah, sort of does the same too, but they're not going to be blocking IPs. They don't do that. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, what am I investing in right now? Like I said, I threw my bait. I'll probably look around Wednesday and see what the prices are. If I had not thrown my bait yesterday, I would definitely be looking to get something today. Like I said, I'm not throwing a lot. Let's just say I had $1,000. I would throw 200 today, right? And then next week it'd be another 200, etc. That's how I would play this. because it's very hard to understand what's going to happen next. One thing is, it's kind of like Bitcoin's been hit and beat so hard, and the price, yeah, it's falling. But at the same time, how much more news can come out? How much more news can come out than what has really happened? I mean, SEC can come out. The USA can really just say, all right, we're cracking down. But I mean, the USA has already kind of done that, right? They've already huffed and puffed and said it's coming. Banks are fucking banning accounts left and right. It's almost impossible to buy anything. Dude, your account doesn't even have to be, it doesn't even have to be a credit card anymore. If your account is associated with cryptocurrencies, they can close it. Chase. I'm not aware of the other ones, but I know Chase has been known to do that. Some of my poker friends have had troubles with that. Just like when they send to poker sites, they did the same thing. They're treating it just like that. And yeah, this was the worst time for us to go up and then down. We had the Christmas boom, and then the January nightmare. Boom, boom. And a lot of people that were new got in. That was when Bitcoin fees were at their all-time high. A lot of people lost money in the terms of fees. Somebody thought $100, lost $20 to a fee, and then it crashes as hard as it does. It's the perfect shitstorm. It really is. It couldn't get any more shittier in the short term. However, Bitcoin's a juggernaut. Bitcoin's a juggernaut. Like I said, it's walking through quicksand. It has all these things bringing it down, but it's a 100-foot statue giant. And it's just going to keep marching and marching. That you cannot bring down will always persist in this world. Bitcoin is here. It's not going anywhere. It's been attacked every day in the most public of arenas. Every day, there's no sleep for Bitcoin. It's constantly getting arrows. It's constantly getting stabs. People are constantly after it. Yet it remains. And this is just a number. It's not real. This is real. This is real. This is not real. And to the day traders out there, God bless you. Good luck. To the hodlers, if you're in it, this is the time that Bitcoin needs you the most. This is the time cryptocurrency needs you the most. Do you believe in it? Do you want to keep being a slave to the banks, to the government, them telling you what you can and can't do? This is a democracy, quote unquote. It's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be fair. I think the people are speaking. The people want freedom. People want to be, look at what happened in Korea. They tried to pull some shit, South Korea, and, had over 150,000 people, more, everyone, petitioning, people showing up outside. There needs to be a little bit more fight. A lot of people are looking at the price. It's not just the price. There's a big battle going on, and the world's going to be changed forever. And it can go down two routes. It can go down a centralized path, or it can go down a decentralized path. And there's really no overcoming once we go down one or the other. Once the centralized path has too much power, it becomes like Bitcoin. It becomes unstoppable. Right now, the decentralized path is the strongest because it was first. But everyone and their mom is trying to make an Amazon coin. Everyone and their mom is trying to do some kind of take and put into a centralized manner to where it could be fully controlled. And yeah, money is nice, but what's being a billionaire in a centralized world versus being, having a few $1,000 but being free in a decentralized world? Because the money can always be taken from you in a centralized world. That's what you have to realize. They have so much power till there's a tipping point, till they can say, fuck you, and you can't petition. Look at the history. This is brief, quote unquote, freedom, right? There's a time called the Dark Ages where you couldn't do this. So a lot of people are taking this shit for granted, thinking about just the money. This is a fight. Yeah, we're down. We've been up. This isn't the time to run. When your homeboy's getting his ass kicked, this isn't the time to run. This is the time to step in. Get some blood on the knuckles. Really fight back. Fuck the few that are making all the noise. The mainstream media. Everyone, Jack in the Box, Pizza Hut, everyone's taking little swipes. These mainstream media outlets trying to brainwash people. Bitcoin's bad. It's cute, but not in my world. So I'm gonna kill it there. Cheers. Peace.